Hello and welcome to this attribute class node example video. With first things we're going to do, I think that there might have been one thing I was just watching through the video that maybe, I'm not sure if I changed maybe before essentially our test setup, but one thing we want to make sure is that if you look in the condition node within attribute condition, where it says if operation on line 25, that you have self.a operation set. I think this may have been accidentally put as self.a .set, but obviously we want to actually set the operation parameter because we are not dealing with an attribute here, an attribute class instance here. We're actually dealing with an object class instance here, and the class instance is a condition. So we need to first access the attributes, then the operation, and then set that. So yeah, make sure that that is set. But okay, let's go on to code snippets. So let's open up a miscellaneous folder, open up code snippets. We're going to look at a couple of new examples that we can kind of use to explain and use, and maybe in the future. And so then what we can do is essentially we can import our DAG node as DAG. We can create a new attribute on our control, which will be control teapot for our example. And we're going to add an attribute hide on playback, which will be an integer. And we are going to then make it the nice name for the animator to see hide on playback. And then we've got our attributes, which we can set to minimum of 0, maximum of 1, with a default of 1. And that will be visible. And then what we're going to do is we're going to get every NURBS curve within the environment, regardless of name, create a DAG out of it, and then we are going to cycle through it, and we are going to plug in hide on playback into the hide on playback feature within the node. Let's go and open up Maya and and use this example. So here is our toilet duck, which again was used in some adverts many years ago. Yeah, nice. It's a nice little rig. Gives us quite a lot of flexibility with everything it does. Nice little squashy movable head. But what we can't do is, annoyingly, when the animation is playing, you see all the controls are still visible. And we don't want animators to be able to show those. We don't want to maybe make them every time have to go to show. We want to make them have to find, oh, where is the NURBS? Okay, NURBS curves. Make sure they've got everything. What we want to be able to do is actually give them the ability to just be able to do a playback and then have all the controls off. So what we're going to do, okay, let's open up our script editor and let's go, oh, what am I doing? Sorry. So panels, save layouts, and then we will go to script editor, perspective. And let's copy our code in. So we've got our previous code here, of which we set a bunch of controls in place. And then we also now have our controller and attribute setup working. So teapot control. This is this big control on top. Bit of a throwback to the original renders of CG. Okay, it has a lot of attributes on to show essentially the user what they can do. They can change dynamics of the feathers. They can set FKIK, and they can set visibilities up, so they can hide a lot of visibility. You can hide bendy setup, so that must have been locked on for a reason for the animators. But what we want to do is we want to have the ability to be able to hide all these controls. So let's run this code now. We'll see a new attribute pop up. Okay, it's on 1 as default. And now if we scrub through the timeline, all of the NURBS curves are hidden. Okay, that's brilliant. So that's exactly what we want. And all of that is being done again nicely with just a few lines of code, being added a nice little feature for us. Perfect. But now let's look at our other example. So remember the example that we looked at with within the Python tutorial. So we were talking about color intensity, and let's say you needed to write a little script that changes the color intensity, and we put that into a function. What we can do is, again, pass a list of materials, or say use whatever ones are selected. And then what we can do is we can cycle through those materials. We can get the color R attribute, and then we can times that by the value that is being passed to make it a little bit lighter, say 10% lighter, as we're doing here. And then we can do that for each one of the attributes. So we're doing it again for color G. and color B, so RGB. And again, everyone will just get 10% brighter every time. We're doing it for each individual one and not doing it for the parent attribute, because each one of these child attributes might have a different value. So that makes sense to go through them each individually. But again, nice quick little script and showing the power, again, of all of our code. Again, very much more, it does seem to be a lot to look at when you first look at it, but when you then look at the material A, it breaks everything down quite quickly, and you're then looking at, okay, well, what else is there? Well, we've got set, and we've got get. Okay, but we've also got color R, and we've got G and B. So we're cycling through each one of these, making sure that we're always updating it relative to its current setting. Brilliant. Okay, well done, guys. And congratulations on that, finishing the attributes module. Next, we're going to look at the dimensions module and try and bust through that as quick as we can. Cheers. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you in the next series of lectures.